Ah, yes. I thought I'd throw this in there to mark our bi-weekly interview with Dr. Jaimie Ronchetto from Cinema Veterinary Center. Good morning.
Good morning.
So a little surprised. You like it?
Yes.
Like it?
It's new.
Cinema Veterinary Center, located, that is, on Cinema Drive in beautiful Valencia. And as a client, having brought some of my dogs there, I can attest to your wonderful professionalism.
Thank
and
you.
the email updates are great because, I would normally probably forget that there was a veterinary appointment until that day. Oh my gosh, I got to move things around. So that's great. Now, I want to talk. We've talked a lot in the past, Dr. Ronchetto, about spaying and neutering and the importance, and we still want to talk about that. Spaying and neutering, very important. As a matter of fact, is it not an LA County law now that you have to do so?
It is. It is law, and they will definitely hike up the fees if you do not.
And fees for like licensing and stuff, right? Now, let's say though that, wow, I didn't realize my dog was old enough to get pregnant. I thought I had a few more months, especially females, because
Yes.
it's not always easy to tell whether they've been spayed. I mean, dogs it's a pretty easy check to see if they've been neutered, but with females,
Right.
not so much. Or maybe you've gotten the dog from someone else and said, oh yeah, she's been spayed, no problem. And then she ends up with a belly full of puppies, or the same thing with a kitty cat, especially. I want to talk a little bit about that. What happens in that event? How do you tell if a dog is pregnant, and the gestation time, and what we do to take care of them during that time? So first of all, I want to ask real quick, is there an easy way to tell if a female dog or cat has been spayed?
Well, luckily, usually on examination, we can either feel or see a space scar. Sometimes we have to shave a little area just to get down to the skin if they're really fluffy, but usually we can see something. And depending on where they were spayed, a lot of shelters still will put a little tattoo, just a little tiny mark on their belly next to the spay incision, so that even if you can't see or feel the scar, you see this little tattoo that tells you that they've been spayed.
So first of all, it's always good, no matter where you get your pet from, to have them checked out by a professional, just in case, for many reasons, but especially that's one of them, especially if it's a female. But what are the first signs? Let's go with dogs. I don't know if there's a difference between dogs and cats. What are the first signs before? Is there anything that you can tell before they start showing that they're pregnant?
Sometimes it's hard. They will have some behavioral changes. They might be a little bit more clingy. They might want to start nesting and kind of acting strange, be protective of toys, that kind of thing. But they will start to be gaining weight sort of inexplicably, and their belly will grow. So you'll notice a distended belly. When you come in for the exam, if you're worried that they're gaining weight for no reason, or you suspect that they may be pregnant, usually right off the bat we'll do an ultrasound, so we can actually see the little guys in there, and we can see the heartbeats. Ultrasound can just tell if they're pregnant or not, and tell if it's viable by watching the heartbeats, but it's really hard to get a count because it's super easy to accidentally count one twice, and they can be sort of overlapping sometimes. So
They're kind of all bunched in there.
Yes, but at least you would get that confirmation. Yes, they're pregnant, or no, they're not. And then later on, 45 days or after is when we can do an x-ray, and that's when we can get a better head count, because the skeletons will be ossified enough that they'll show up on the x-ray, and then you can count the little skulls or the little spines.
And the x-rays are perfectly safe for the dogs, no problem.
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
So we talk about getting prepping once you know, and we talk about, is the gestation like roughly 2 months, or is it?
It's 62 days.
62 days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's right there.
Yep.
So what do we do to prepare, just in case a mommy puppy is, what do we want to set aside an area for her to give birth, or is she going to pick a nest, or how does that work?
Yeah, you can definitely help her in that. Make a little nesting area for her, somewhere where she feels safe and she can be a little bit secluded. And she may dictate sort of where she wants to be. You can kind of watch her behavior and see what she tells you she's comfortable with. You'll definitely want to keep her on a high plane of nutrition. A lot of times we recommend puppy food during the whole of pregnancy, and then even afterwards while she's nursing. That is really hard on their bodies too, and they use a lot of metabolic energy. So keeping them on puppy food throughout that stage as well will be important. And they're usually weaned, by 6 weeks or so.
And that's also keeping a safe place for the puppies as well, so they can't get out.
Absolutely.
They start to learn how to climb and things. I want to be clear, though, too, because my cousin had a dog that actually they had found, and this was the thing, followed her home when she was pregnant. This is when I was growing up, and the dog had puppies on her brother's bed. So you want to make sure ahead of time, because it is not a pretty sight.
Yes.
And you want to make sure ahead of time that you've got a nesting place that they're comfortable with, so they don't just suddenly you're out getting new furniture. So that's really important. So that is good to know. So, but first and foremost, most important, make sure that your pets are spayed and or neutered. But in case that happens, make sure that you have them checked out, just kind of regular checkups, not only for ultrasound, but also you want that gestation period to be good, because first of all, just like any birth is traumatic on anyone, especially if it's a troubled birth because you overlooked some medical issues.
Absolutely.
Can really be stressful on the dog as well, just like it is on a human.
And there are certain breeds that just cannot have puppies on their own naturally. A lot of your brachycephalic breeds, so your smush-faced breeds, the English bulldogs, the French bulldogs, a lot of them, their puppies will be too big for them to actually go through the birth canal, and they have a lot of problems. So when you do go to your veterinarian, talking about breed-related issues too is important, so you know what to expect.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Outstanding. Cinema Veterinary Center, located on Cinema Drive in beautiful Valencia. CinemaVet.com. 253-9300.
Perfect.
Boom. And again, as a client, I can wholeheartedly attest to their professionalism and service. Outstanding stuff. Thanks so much for stopping by, Doc. It's always a pleasure.